Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I can see John Fisk is here on Facebook. John, thanks for joining us. Carly has now jumped on Periscope as well, or on Twitter. Thank you for everybody. I can see people who are retweeting this already, who are sharing this in their Facebook feeds. Massively appreciate you doing that. So we're just having a little chat in the holding area before I actually turn the camera on. And we're talking about, ultimately going after what you want, and this new book that I'm going to be looking at tonight. We're looking at the moment, the theme for like the previous broadcasts over the last couple of weeks has kind of been productivity. Remember when I told you all about Michael Hyatt's productivity quiz? Okay, you can actually, I'll bring this up on the screen, you can actually do this until tomorrow. I think this goes away tomorrow. Michael Hyatt's an awesome mentor of mine, productivity coach, just a great business guy, really. But, you know, everything he coaches is applicable to anybody. If you go to act.network/am I productive, act.network/am I productive, you can take his free quiz. Basically gives you a score and tells you where you need to focus on in order to become more productive, up your game, and just get more done, because there is a big difference between feeling busy all the time and actually feeling productive. And I want to carry on this theme tonight in this book club. Drop my phone then, because don't break that. I'm getting the new iPhone soon. Don't want to smash that screen before I trade it in. We're going to be looking at, for the next 4 weeks, this brand new book by Brendon Burchard. It's called High Performance Habits: How Extraordinary People Become That Way. It's a brand new book, pretty thick, lots and lots of chapters that are kind of standalone. You have to read it in any particular order. But particularly tonight, I want to look at increasing productivity. So he says, Andy Warhol said, don't think about making art, just get it done. Let everyone else decide if it's good or bad, whether they love it or hate it. Whilst they are deciding, make even more art. And I think for a lot of actors, they're shit scared of that. They're like, you know what, I can't put this thing out there because it's not perfect, or I don't think people might, not everyone's going to like it. And then they just don't put anything out, when really it's about quality output. I'm just going to put stuff out. Some people are going to like this one, some people are going to like that one, some people might not like this one, might not like that one. But whilst they're deciding whether they're going to like it or not, you're, again, back at your desk, back in front of the camera, doing whatever you need to do to just create more stuff. Good evening. Who's that? Was that Helen who joined? I can't see exactly who that was then. But yeah, and that's being productive. Procrastinating at home and putting nothing out and no content out there as an actor or human being, that's not productive. That's just procrastinating, or running around pretending to yourself that you're being productive by cleaning up your inbox in your email. Going, oh, look how neat and tidy my inbox is, and I've got this folder for this, and this folder for that, and this folder. I'm so productive. No, you're not necessarily. You've just probably spent 3 days deleting emails when you could have actually, been way more productive and put quality output in there over those 3 days. It's actually going to get you further in your career. It's all very good having a clean inbox, but it will be better to have an influx of emails from people going, this is amazing what you've just done, innit? As opposed to going, oh, look how empty my inbox is. Would it not be nice to be overwhelmed by emails of support and emails from people going, wow, that film you shot and you put out has just blown me away? That's better, and that's being productive as opposed to just being busy. So let me know your thoughts on that before we begin. Do you think you're busy right now, or do you feel that you're being productive? Alex is here on Facebook as well. She says, totally just discovered how to watch this on my TV. You can watch it on your TV, Alex. A lot of people push their feed from Facebook or whatever, or YouTube, if you're watching, or just wherever. You can do this on many devices, to your TV. So that's awesome. And Chris Stone is here. Chris Stone, I know he streams it on his TV. Get me on your big brand new TV, Chris. Good to see you here, mate. So yeah, who feels productive and who feels busy right now? Fanny says, I actually have no idea anymore if I'm just busy or productive. Okay, well, we're going to figure that out tonight, looking at this chapter of this book, and then we're going to look at some practical, actionable steps that you can take to up that productivity. So you will know if you're productive or not by the end of this, Fanny. I hope, anyway. Right, okay, so I'm just relaunching Twitter because it decided it was going to crash on me, and then we will begin, just so I can see everybody's comments. Before we begin, would massively appreciate a retweet on this or a share on Facebook. That would be brilliant if you could do that for me, so I can impact more people. And if we are all ready and bedded in, let's begin. Just going to bring up these comments on Facebook so I can see this as we go along. Chris Stone says, you are on my big screen in surround sound. Amazing, Chris. Well, I'm sure that's a delight for all. I'm sure your wife, Steph, doesn't really just want to spend the night watching me in surround sound. But, Steph, if you're there, welcome. Glad you are there. So, high performance habit number 4 in this book. If you want to read along or you want to get this for next week, it's just come out on Amazon. I can't remember how much it cost me, to be honest, but Brendon Burchard, we looked at a couple of his books. We looked at the Motivation Manifesto and we looked at the Charged Life. Both are fantastic. Get any of them. High Performance Habits, the Motivation Manifesto, or the Charged Life. All of them are brilliant, brilliant books. So it starts off this chapter, guys, and it says, look, it's just not happening fast enough. Who feels that? Who feels that in their life or their acting career? It's just not happening fast enough. Who would like things to happen faster? And then see more of, more of what they would class as like, a good result. Life doesn't always work that way. We looked at this before, and it's obviously real progress comes pretty slowly, and it comes due to a whole load of minor positive decisions you make over time that compound into something far bigger. Mary's putting her hand up. She wants everything to be to come a little faster. Success, that is. Alison says yes as well. Alex says, I feel like that always. John says me. We all want to see results faster, don't we? So it starts off about and Brendon is talking here about a client of his called Athena, who's a school administrator, okay? Corey, good evening. And it says, Athena, a school administrator, says this in a defeated tone. It's just not happening fast enough. We're in her office discussing her goals and how productive she feels that her career has been. Thick binders are crammed into the shelves behind her. There's a tiny window next to her desk. No pictures adorn the white walls, which seem yellowed with time. I can't help but feel that this office, make it the entire admin building, was built in the 1970s and never painted again. Athena has worked in this room for 14 years. I was in my dead-end job for 11 years. It's more than enough. 14 years, bless her. She says, I'm busier now than I've ever been in my whole career. There's a lot of urgency right now because they're about to close 2 of my schools. I barely leave this office even for lunch. She points out 2 takeout boxes on the windowsill. I have meetings all day with teachers, principals, parents, community leaders. In between, I try to cram in email. I'm up late every night reviewing proposals. I've worked around the clock for what feels like 4 years. I don't feel like I'm making enough progress, even though I'm ticking off one thing after another. Liam Babbitt is here. All right, Liam, good to see you joining. So who has done that? Like, who writes out their to-do lists or whatever, or your big 3 to do for the day and that kind of stuff, and you tick it all off, and still at the end of the day, you're like, shit, I'm just treading water. I'm just ticking off these things. I'm still feeling like I'm not getting anywhere. Because I know a lot of people who feel like that, and I felt like that before in my life, and it's because of the quality of the output that you are putting out. Lucy says she feels that as well. It's a common issue when you're not leveraging time or quality of output, as opposed to you're looking at quantity of output rather than quality. I'm going to look at that now, though. So she says, so Brenda says, I decide to ask her a question that type A's dread when discussing their productivity, okay? And it says, are you happy? So everyone on here who's like, I'm feeling busy or I'm productive, ultimately, are you happy though, okay? Athena scowls. I don't want to sound unhappy, Brendon. It's not like I'm saying life is awful or my career sucks. I'm just not as effective as I want to be, or everyone needs me to be. That's why we asked you here to focus on me being more effective. I've found that when you're talking with really busy people, they usually leave the topic of happiness quickly. Okay, so Athena, are you effectively happy then? She laughs. Well, I'm happy enough, I guess. It's not like every day is a dream, but I do love what I'm doing. It's just I think there must be a better way. A better way than what? Well, than killing myself working this hard to get what feels like nowhere. I want to retire after 20 years, but that's just 6 years from now. I don't even know if I can make it another 2 at this pace. And even if I do, I'm scared I'll retire and look back and think, what was it all for? What did I actually accomplish in 20 years of a life? What do you think it's all for? Brendon asks. Oh, well, the schools for sure. I'm clear about that. That's why I started this career. I know if I can make the schools in my community healthy, I can make generations of kids have better lives. Okay, sounds like a wonderful mission, he says. You say you might wonder what you really accomplished. What do you hope that to be? Well, I hope to accomplish some big projects that these schools can benefit from for generations, but I can't imagine how I can get there. I'm already trying so hard just to maintain. Just to maintain. I'm putting in the hours, but I haven't advanced as fast as I thought I would. It's Brendon Burchard, Caroline. Just notice you asked which Brendon is this. Yeah, so Brendon Burchard. See it on the front, there he is on the back, but I don't know if you can... Oh, where's the camera? There you go. Burchard, see at the bottom there? We've done 2 of his books before. Look him up. He's a good lad. What is a type A, Ross? So personality types, yeah. So I imagine that's probably... I don't know if he's doing... If that's off the Myers-Briggs personality test. If you look that up, you basically get asked a load of questions about different areas of your life, and you score them. It takes maybe 10, 20 minutes, and you will get a personality result. I'm an N. What am I? An ENT. I think I'm a J or an F. It sounds things like extroverted. If you go on the Myers-Briggs test, do it. It's pretty good and it's pretty accurate. You will find out what your personality type is. You should do that, actually. I'll put a link to that in the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/@onthistv. I will post that, or someone posted a link to the Myers-Briggs test, and figure out what you are. A mate of mine, Mark Dharma, is like an absolute killer at knowing people's personality types. He's better at remembering people's personality types than names. So if people come into, like, I don't know, to meet him for a meal or something, he won't go, "Oh, Dave, nice to see you." He'll go, ENTFJ, great to see you. He just knows people's personality types over people's names, which is mental, but he's very, very good then at knowing how to communicate with those people down to their personality types, which is an incredible skill. So look that up. I think you'll find it interesting. So we're looking now. So what's Athena like doing all this for, effectively? She's saying, look, I'm finding it difficult enough just to maintain. I don't feel like I'm making any progress in my life. I'm not making, she says, the difference I'd hoped because my projects move too slow. My work-life balance is a mess. It's just that I feel like I'm always pushing and pushing and juggling and juggling. I'm always having to reinvent the wheel with every project. I'm always fighting fires and scrambling to achieve anything that lasts. She trails off and looks at the blank yellowed wall beside her. It's like, no matter what I do, I'm not getting these big projects accomplished, she says, and I worry I'm not approaching them right. No matter what I do, it's just... And Brendon says, I feel an intense energy coming from her. A lump has grown in my throat. I know where this is going. It hurts to see someone with a vision caged here in this office. It's just what? He asks. Everything I do, she says, it's just never, she blinks back tears, enough. So it just doesn't, again, it's that classic thing that everybody struggles with. It's just feeling enough in what you're doing and like you're making the impact that you want to have. Lots of people here probably feel that way, whether it's in life or in your acting career or in whatever you do. You might be seeing other people and thinking, God, they're making such a big impact in the world, and I'm not making that kind of impact. And then that makes you downhearted and downbeat, and then you actually end up making less impact in the world, which makes you feel even worse. Then you make less and less and less and less and less. So let's have a look at what we can do about it. So Brendon says, look, it's one of the worst feelings in the world to be incredibly busy and feeling that you're not making any progress. You're fighting the good fight, but your approach is wrecking your health or compromising your well-being. Projects seem to take forever. Progress comes too slow. Happiness is always a distant horizon, never reached. Athena felt that, and most of us have at some point. It was hard watching Athena experience these feelings because from the outside, she seemed like a one-woman SWAT team. Who feels like that? Or a one-man SWAT team? I felt like that until very, very recently, and I mean like the last 2 weeks since I've started building a team around me. I'll talk about that in a minute. I've very much felt like that this year. She finished each day with a lot of to-dos crossed off a list. What she had yet to learn was that not only was balance possible, but so was increased progress. She also had to discover that sometimes all that busy work isn't your life's work. Sometimes being effective isn't enough because achievement can be hollow if it gets out of sync with who you are, what you really want to be doing, what you're actually capable of. She had to learn the difference between just getting things done and reaching high-performance productivity. And he says high performers have a very deliberate approach in planning their days. And we're going to look at this tonight, okay? They look at planning their days, look at planning projects and tasks compared to underperformers. So if you're underperforming, you're probably not looking at your approach in planning to get things done in the way that you should. He says, like most productive people, high performers score well on statements such as, I'm good at goal setting, I'm good at priorities and working on what's important, I stay focused and avoid distractions and temptations. And the stronger the agreement with such statements, the greater overall high performers score. The difference is that when they compare themselves to their peers, high performers are more productive and yet also happier, less stressed, and more rewarded over the long term. Okay, it says the happiness finding is especially relevant since many people believe they can't possibly do more without compromising their well-being or sense of balance, but that's just not true. High performers have found a way to produce more, but also eat healthier, work out more, and still feel a greater love for taking on new challenges than their peers do. And they don't just get more busy work done in the sense that they slop things together. They don't. High performers complete more activities and report being more excellence-driven than their peers. And Brendon says, my interviews with many high performers and their peers over the past decade confirm this statement. So we're going to look at some of the productivity basics in just one part of this chapter. It's a big chapter, and there's one part of it that I want to look at, and at the end of it, there's a little exercise that I want everyone in here to do. Or if you're listening to this on the replay, on the audio experience, good evening or good afternoon, Richard Haler from Miami. Good to see you here, mate. John Fisk also said it takes time to succeed. It definitely does. Patience, we know, is critical. Hard work every day, John, coupled with patience, makes you dangerous, man. So let's just have a look at this part of the chapter that I want to look at. And it's called, it's practice 1, okay, in this book. There's a few exercises. It's the first one. And this is a brand new way. I was quite excited when I was reading this before. This is a brand new way of looking at productivity. I have never looked at my own productivity and my output into the world, making that difference in my acting career, out my acting career, in anything. You can apply this to anything, your leisure time, your relationships, your time in the gym, your healthy eating, whatever you want to apply it to. You can apply this principle tonight into that, all right? I'm getting quite passionate about this. So practice 1, increase the outputs that matter. This is the thing, and I think this is the key for a lot of us in actually getting the work done that's making us happy, as opposed to getting loads of stuff done and going, oh, I feel so hollow because I might have ticked off a load of shit on my to-do list, but actually none of it really meant that much to me, and all the real great things. Who's done this, right? So this week for me, okay, I have been shooting my daily vlog, which I'm going to talk to you about again at the end. I'm going to published the first vlog. It's called Watch Ross. You'll be able to watch it on Facebook, and it opens up my life, my career, everything about me, personal life, everything, no holes barred, warts and all, behind the scenes look at my life and everything in it. I've been filming that yesterday and today, so episode 1 is filmed. We're in the middle of editing it. I've had to come home today and get a load of admin done because I haven't in the past relinquished control to be able to build a team to do the admin that I should no longer really be doing in my life. When really what I wanted to do is edit that vlog. So I've had to do those tasks because I've been foolish in the past of going, I'm not going to employ somebody to do this, even though at the moment I probably should be doing that. I should be leveraging my time better. And what it's actually done is it's made me do a load of stuff today that, yes, I could feel like, oh, I've been dead productive, I've done all of this. It's not made me happy because the thing that I really wanted to do, one was read this book, do this tonight with you guys, and the other thing is get to that footage so I can edit it. So there'll be things in your life where you're like, right, I feel like I've done loads of stuff. Yeah, I've made the bed, I've done the ironing, I've cleaned my shirts, I've done this, I've fed the dog. All these, that is important. Do feed your dog. All this stuff. But the one thing you've really wanted to do, edit that short film, write that script, shoot that whatever, paint, whatever it is, go for a walk, go to the cinema with your partner, whatever it is. You ain't done that. So yes, you've been. Caroline says story of my life, and Mary says I'm putting off a certain one thing. And it's because you're probably going, oh, well, I can do that when I've got all this other stuff out of the way, or I can do that when I've done it. There's never going to be a perfect time to do that thing. And I've realised that this week. You've just got to do it. And all those other things that aren't fulfilling you, making you happy, you know what? Just let them build up a little bit. They're not going to kill you, If you do the thing it's going to make you happy today, i.e. if I'd have edited that, that footage today, and I'd put off cleaning my bed or something like that, do that tomorrow. Because I'm going to be in a better place to do that if I'm happy. And I'll be happy if I've done the thing today that I wanted to do. So yeah, this is about that. And it's about increasing the outputs in your life that matter. Annabelle is here. Evening, Ross. Pleased to be listening. All right, Annabelle. I think you might have met Sean today, Annabelle, did you? I think. Sean, my business partner, Sean. You'll see him on the vlog, guys. Said he was going to meet you, I think. Or maybe that's this week or tomorrow or something. So, practice 1. I digress. Increase the outputs that matter, all right? Starts off with a quote by Peter Drucker. He says, nothing is less productive than to make more efficient what should not be done at all. It's a good quote. So you get it. Let me read it again. Nothing is less productive than to make more efficient what should not be done at all. So there might be some things in your life that you've done today that really just like didn't matter. I didn't actually need to do any of that, and yet you've made it more efficient, and you've, whether that's, again, ironing your sheets. I don't even iron my sheets. Barely iron t-shirts, to be honest. It's only because they're quite tight and the creases just kind of like stretch out of them. But yeah, doesn't really have to be done. So if what you want to become, if what you want to become extraordinary, you need to figure out the productive outputs that matter in your field or industry. So it says eminent scientists produce more important papers than their less known or less effective counterparts. Mozart and Beethoven became great not only by their genius, but also through their productive output. The same goes for Bob Dylan, Louis Armstrong, the Beatles. In its highest performing years, Apple launched products that were hit after hit. Babe Ruth took more swings than his counterparts, just as Michael Jordan took a lot more shots and Tom Brady threw a lot more passes, if you do American football. Seth Godin, great blogger, cranks out blogs. Malcolm Gladwell cranks out books and articles. Casey Neistat, if you watch vloggers on YouTube, he's a good lad, Casey Neistat. It's been quite inspiring for me to watch doing a vlog recently. He keeps uploading those YouTube videos. Chanel keeps the fresh designs coming. And Beyonce keeps dropping great albums, all right? High performers have mastered the art of prolific quality output. And this is something I want you to write down. PQO. Prolific quality output. That's very different to the bullshit mundane things that you might not always have to do if you've got something that's going to be, going to make you far happier if you do that. PQO. Prolific quality output. So they produce more high quality output than their peers over the long term. And that is how they become more effective, better known, more remembered. They aim their attention and consistent efforts towards PQO and minimize any distractions, including opportunities that would steal them away from their craft. So if you set out to do something this week, maybe today, and then you've had a phone call or something, has distracted you and it stopped you from, it stole you away from your craft. I'm sure everybody's been in that position recently, okay? This point seems almost universally lost in a world where people spend over 28% of their work week managing email. Good evening, Alan. Great to see you on the broadcast, man, on Facebook. 28%. That's these are real stats, okay? 28% of people reckon people are spending 28% of their work week managing email, okay? And another 20% just looking for information. People spend eons of time on worthless activities, say creating, there you go, that's what I'm talking about, creating folders and organising their email, even though these have nothing to do with real productivity. And Brendon says, yes, sorry, your elaborate email folders aren't helping you. A 2011 study of 85,000 actions by 345 email users found that people who create complex folders are less efficient in finding what they need than those who simply use search or threading. So actually, if you use an Apple device, it threads emails automatically for you, or there's a search bar at the top you can just type into. I can search on my email in that search bar. I can just type a keyword in, and it will go back through like 5 years of email for me and just bring up the email I want. I don't have to put it in a special folder. This is acting folder. This is business folder. This is that folder. Don't do that. I've tried it a couple of times years ago. It was just pointless because you just ended up in and out of folders and subfolders. I have one inbox, and I delete all the shit and I delete stuff I know I'm not going to need. But then I've probably got 4 years of emails that I'm like, you know what, I might come back to that at some point. I'm not going to archive it or put it in a special folder or spend time on that because my email just does that for me. Like, keep it all in one box, and if I need to find it, I can just search for it. Step 1 of studying is organising your highlighters. Yeah, it's like at school, isn't it? And you got to go, right, I'm going to go and buy my pencil case, get all my highlighters, my pencils and everything like that. But yeah, that study basically found that people who create all those complex systems are just less efficient. So Brendon says, I bring up email because because achievers almost universally blame it for their poor productivity. But email per se is not the problem. The real culprit is our very orientation to work itself. Real work isn't replying to everyone's false emergencies, shuffling papers, deleting junk emails, posturing to look good or attending meetings. Real work is producing quality output that matters. So back to that PQO, okay? Prolific quality output. Who here reckons they're prolific in their content? in terms of you put out regular stuff every week without a doubt. You're like, right, bang. I mean, my new vlog's coming out every Monday, regardless. This broadcast, my live broadcast, every Monday night. You know I've done it for the last 2 years. Every Monday night, 9 p.m. Every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Every Friday, a podcast. The day after these live broadcasts go out, you know you can get the podcast on iTunes. You'll get the replay on YouTube, the replay on actsonthis.tv. I try and be as prolific as I can and as consistent as I can, because you guys will give up on me if I say I'm going to be here at 9 o'clock and I'm just not. It's bullshit. I owe it to you if I say I'm going to be here bang on 9 o'clock every Monday, every Wednesday, unless my mum falls over and breaks her ankle like about 4 weeks ago. I have fairly good content, says Stephen. I'm really aiming to be prolific, says Fanny. I think you're pretty prolific, Fanny. You put a lot of content out. I think what would be good for you is if you had a regular schedule. I think everyone here, if you had a regular schedule of prolific quality output going once a week, I'm going to put a video out or a blog post. You know what? If you don't want to do video, do a blog post. Audio. I'm going to go so hard on audio as well. I'm going to take parts of my vlog and just like rip 3 minutes of what I'm talking about in my vlog and just put it out on the audio experience on iTunes as a piece of audio content. I have new content fairly regularly, says Steve. I'm not that big-headed. Put content out, man. It's the only way you're going to become efficient is by consistent, prolific quality output. So part of your job, Brendan says, is to figure out what relevant, prolific quality output means to you, okay? For the blogger, it might mean more frequent and better content. For the cupcake store owner, it might be discerning the 2 best-selling flavors and expanding distribution on just those 2 flavors, okay? The parents may choose to increase the frequency of free time and great experiences with their kids. The sales rep might go after more meetings with qualified prospects. The graphic designer might pump out more great images. For the academic, it might be the quality of the curriculum and classes or the number of published papers or books. Figuring out what you are supposed to produce and learning the priorities in the creation, quality, and frequency of that output is one of the greatest breakthroughs you can have in your career. So what do you think? Let's brainstorm a few things. As actors, what you reckon your quality output could be? What is it? A lot of you guys are pumping out quite a lot of showreel scenes on a regular basis. Fanny, you're pumping out your improvisations on a regular basis. I don't see that many people doing live stuff. I think live stuff is good because it always gets pre-recorded. You could do Instagram Live, you could do Facebook Live, you can do Periscope, Twitter, YouTube Live. A vlog. That's why I've decided I'm going to do a vlog. It's regular quality, prolific output. You're going to see so much of my life you've never seen before. Steve's putting out videos, not talking about. He's being vulgar again. But yeah, you've got to figure out for you what that is. And you know what? Maybe it is blogging. It's the written word, if you like that. It is a podcast. Everyone should just set up a podcast. If I did like a few articles or a few series of videos on how you set up a podcast, would people actually be interested in it? Because it's dead easy to get your podcast up on iTunes and out there and get, I thought, no one's going to listen to my podcast. It gets 2,000 downloads a week so far. And it's not huge. It's a pretty niche kind of industry though. And I'm not really had to do that much with it, to be honest. I just kind of, I repurpose content from these blogs, these broadcasts, not blogs, and whack it back out on iTunes and out on Stitcher. I put the replay, this is going out live, I put the replay on YouTube, that's another area of content I could put out, put it on actsonthis.tv, I turn it into a podcast. You don't have to kind of do 3 things, you can create 3 things from one piece of content if you're, if you're savvy enough. So you've got to figure out what that thing is for you, and then figure out what the frequency of your output should be. If you've got time to do 1 piece a week, do that. If you only got time to do 1 piece a month, do that, but do it consistently because people will expect it. Helen says, hopefully my band will be regularly releasing new songs starting from today. Definitely, Helen. Music's, honestly, if you look at some of the people in the world now who are killing it in music, Drake, for instance, right, smashing it. He's dropping, gone are the days where you just release 1 album a year. You go, I've got 7 songs, and you release it once a year or once every 2 years like they used to do. People now are putting out album after album, month after month, new album, new EP, 6, 7 songs out. Literally, some people are doing it daily, weekly, and they're the guys who are crushing it. You've got to, if you can, that's how you will win, because you'll be like, I don't want to put this song out. What if people don't like it? Some people are going to like it, and if you put another song out tomorrow, the people who didn't like the one you just put out yesterday might like that one. And if you put out 12, 15, 20 songs, you're probably going to find a song that everybody, that pleases all of those songs are going to please most people. You're going to have, well, I don't like this one or that one, but I like that one. Put out 20, over the space of a month, you're going to satisfy most people, I would imagine. They're going to like at least one of those 20. So yeah, do that. So Brendon says, look back to almost any business icon and you see a turning point in their career and wealth, which came about when they discovered their PQO. For Steve Jobs, it was dumping a bunch of products from Apple's list so he could focus on massively scaling fewer products, which would change the world, which he did. For Walt Disney, it was ramping up production of movies. In the modern digital era, some of the greatest success stories are those who simply enabled others to share more original and prolific content. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, for example. Wherever PQO is found, prolific quality output, remember, it seems that breakthroughs and wealth follow. Okay, I left the corporate consulting job, Brendon says, in 2006 because I couldn't find fulfillment in the outputs that were being rewarded. When I looked to the partners at my old employer, the PQO was basically how many big clients they signed per year. Though a lot of wonderful things came with that, the ability to do deals, change things, I just didn't connect with the idea of dedicating my life to a career built on deals. For a guy at my lowly level, the informal culture supported a PQO of projects hopping, getting on as many projects as we could so that we gain perspective, expanding our network and get paid for extra travel. Again, there were other benefits to all this, but I just didn't connect. Very little of the end game at that job resonated with me. You've all probably got a PQO now in your job you're doing. I don't know how many of you are liking what your PQO is. Maybe it's like, you're selling PPI claims or something like that and you're on the phone and your PQO is how many of those you can get a day. That's not fulfilling. Maybe it's selling mobile phone contracts in a call center. It's probably not fulfilling. The real PQO, the real thing you want to do, is probably something in the creative industry if you're watching this broadcast because you're probably creative and that's how you've come across this broadcast. And you might not be putting out that quality output in what you want to do, and that's what we need to address. One of our greatest and the greatest realizations of life can come from discovering that the outputs you are being compensated for are not exciting or fulfilling. So basically what you're getting paid for, if it's not exciting or fulfilling, got to change it. When that realization comes, it's time to honor that truth and make a change. I chose to quit and begin my career as a writer, says Brendon, speaker and online trainer. I chose to quit and begin my career as a writer, speaker, online trainer. I saw the outputs of those efforts, creating the content for inspiring and empowering others, as something that would be meaningful to me. The issue was I had no idea how to start or what specifically to do. Like a lot of people new to the expert industry, I thought I had to figure out the writing industry, the speaking industry, the online training industry. I made the mistake of going to dozens of conferences to try to figure out each of those industries without realizing that all they were is that they were all the same career of being a thought leader and had similar outputs that mattered most. For almost a year, casting about with no clarity on which outputs really mattered, I was a mess. I was trying to write articles for magazines and blogs, begging people to let me speak to their groups and hoping to get paid, spinning my wheels, learning 100 online marketing ideas. Then one day, sitting in a cafe, I realized I'd spent all day working in speech marks, but I had nothing really to show for it. I thought, not one thing I've done today is going to advance my career or be remembered by me or anyone else. 10 years from now, no one is going to remember this. What have you done today that you know what? I've recorded a piece of vlog content today that people could potentially watch in 10 years, but I don't know if they will. I don't know how people are going to take it, but I think it's pretty interesting, to be honest. Hopefully you will like it. So ask yourself, what have you done today that is going to matter in 10 years? Anything? And you might have done, if you've got kids, whatever you've done with them, if you've made their life a bit better today, that's going to matter in 10 years, 100%. That really does. But if you've done mundane shit at work that you don't want to do, let's start looking, guys, just getting out of that. Brendon says, I still remember that conversation in my head. If you're honest with yourself, you want to create things that matter. You want to know what a good day's work produces, and it produces something worthwhile, something that will be part of your important contributions to others and the world, something that shows you care about your craft. Of course, I realised that not every day would be a magical, perfect day, where every task I did was earth-shaking, monumental. We all have activities that have to get done that don't make us feel like legends. Taking out the trash isn't adding to your body of great work, but it has to get done. So of course there's going to be things that need to get done. It's about like my admin today. What changed the trajectory of my career that day was deciding on a single page what my PQOs would be. If I was going to be a real writer, then my productive output needed to become books. This book you're holding, it's the 6th I've published since the day. 2 more unreleased manuscripts are waiting in my drawer, he says. This says nothing of the thousands of emails, blog articles, sales letters, and social media posts I've written, but my main effort is books. Wayne Dyer, a mentor and dearly missed friend, wrote and published more than 30 books. I'm just a beginner, Brendon says, but I know my PQO, and that gives me what Wayne would have called the power of intention. What do you think your PQO is? What do you want your if you could choose a PQO? What would it be? I'm really interested in what it would be for you. If Gary's on here, I know it would be scripts because he's a writer. Like Fanny, Mary, I see Marcus here, John, Alan, Annabelle. What is your PQO? If you could choose any prolific quality output, what would you choose to do day in, day out? And are you doing it? Because that's like, a really honest question you've got to ask yourself. Marcus says, thinking of setting up a podcast myself. Any tips on equipment, please? Yeah, I mean, what I've got here is absolutely perfect for a podcast. This microphone, Marcus, is called a Podcaster. It's made by a company called Rode, R-O-D-E. You can see them on this little thing here. R-O-D-E, the Rode Podcaster. It's a brilliant microphone. It's pretty cheap. It's about 120 quid. It's USB. It works with your Mac PC or iPad. You can get some free editing software, something like Audacity, and you can have a podcast up in a day, mate. If you take the action and you quit being afraid of doing it and you just fucking do it, you can have your podcast online tomorrow if you've got 120 quid to spend on a microphone. Chloe, good evening. Good to see you. John's PQO will be acting and DJing. So how many gigs are you doing as a DJ, John? How much input are you putting into acting and DJing in order to get that PQO, that prolific quality output out of that? Are you putting in enough, or are you just sitting there wishing it was going to happen? Yeah, I'm interested. Keep the comments coming on that. I want to know what your ideal prolific quality output would be. So Brendon says, look, I knew that if I was going to be an online course trainer, a relatively new career back in 2006, then my PQO would be curriculum, training videos, and full online courses. As I shared in the chapter on clarity, I stopped trying to learn every new marketing technique that came along and put my full effort into creating and promoting online courses. Making videos and making music would be Cody's PQO. Sarah's here as well. Good evening, Sarah. So yeah, how much input are you putting into that then in order to get that output? Let's have a look. So Brent says the rest, as they say, is history. So yeah, he ended up whacking out a load of online courses. He's become incredibly successful, Brendon. As I shared in the chapter on clarity, no, we've not read that one. Oh yeah, no, I've just read that, haven't I? I stopped trying to learn every new marketing technique that came along and put my full effort into creating and promoting online courses. The rest, as they say, is history. Nearly 2 million people have enrolled in my online courses or video series. That's mental, isn't it? And my free instructional videos about how to live a fully charged life has been viewed over 100 million times. Wow. God, 100 million views some of his videos have had. That is a lot. I'd love to just have 1 million views for now. I did 6 years on underground radio, says John, and sign up to every free acting agency. Well, get yourself, continue to do that. And then if you want to take your acting career up a level, John, I would look at getting, with one specific agent as opposed to lots of it depends what you want to do. If you're doing background work or supporting artist work, or whether you actually want to start taking on, more meatier acting roles. Go all in on getting one decent theatrical agent, one agent who's going to represent you for TV and theatre. Definitely. But yeah, 100 million views. Wow. So Brendan says, if I hadn't figured out my PQO, I would never have had the blessing of reaching all these students. I would never have been named one of the most successful online trainers in history by Oprah.com or make Success Magazine's list of top personal development influencers for so many years. Please know that I'm not sharing this to impress you, but I'm sharing it to convey the tremendous power of deciding what your PQO is to be and going for it. The results in my career are not because I'm particularly special or talented. They happen because I owned the focus for the PQOs that mattered in my career and gave those outputs my obsessive attention and dedication continuously over the long term. So we said at the start about patience. You've got to keep putting out the content even when nobody is watching. When you're like, shit, man, Alison, you're like, or Helen, on your band, you're like, oh, we spent so much time on this song and we've put it up on SoundCloud and it's had 7 listens. 7 is better than 0. What you've got to operate from that place, 1 is better than 0. Because you know what? Everyone's gone through those points where they've had 7 views, 17 views, you get 37 views, your 54 views, and it's only after that where you go, oh, right, I've got over 100 views on this video. Oh, okay, this has got 1,000 views, etc., etc. Brendon did not start off having 100 million views on anything that he did. I'm sure he put something up online, it got 7 views. First broadcast I ever did live got 3 views. This tonight, probably by the time I've finished this and I've retweeted it a couple of times from my own account, so it'll probably have, 400 views or something like that. Started off with like 3. Still building. Give it a retweet now if you want. If you're watching on Twitter, help me out. Brendon says, I cannot overemphasize the importance of this strategy. Whenever I have to help a client increase performance quickly, thank you whoever just retweeted that. I just saw someone retweet it. Discovering what output they should be creating is one of my go-to strategies. No matter what topic or type of deliverables they decide to get productive toward, I have them reorient their entire work schedule. Thank you, Chloe Crump, for retweeting this. They changed their entire work schedule as quickly as possible. I want them spending 60% or more of their work week oriented to PQO. In my experience over this past decade, that 60% figure seems to be the sweet spot where real results start happening for a person's career. For most people, the other 40% ends up in such buckets as strategy, team management, and the everyday task of work or running a business. I spend 60% of my work week on writing, creating curriculum for online training and filming videos. The other 40% goes to strategy, team management, industry relationships, and customer engagement, which includes social media and communicating with students. The 40% is really just the things that support or facilitate the 60%, the prolific quality output. So he says, not everyone has my career, of course, and the golden proportion of 60-40 is not feasible for everyone, but the goal isn't to do what I do, it's to find your best allocation of time and stick to it the best you can. I'm tenaciously consistent about my 60-40, and whenever it drops below that, I know I'm not producing my best. So it'd be interesting to look at how much time you are spending on your PQO or your desired PQO. John, how much time are you spending in your week on your, your acting and your DJing? Marcus, how much time are you putting into researching and creating this podcast? Whatever it is for you. Helen, how much time are you putting into the band and releasing those songs? If it's less than 60%, then you're going to have to look to alter that. Not instantly, because sometimes it's hard. You might be in a rut like I was in a dead-end job for 11 years, and you're like, you know what, I have to transition out of this, and it's going to take a little bit. But you've got to start taking action to do that now, and not going, oh, I'll do that when this happens or when that happens. It's never going to happen that way, because it's never going to be a right time to get out of that job. You just got to start doing something to get out of that job, so you can up your PQO and the time you spend on that PQO. So he says, if these times sound extreme, please note that this is very different from the advice of those who tell you to go all in and give one of your passions 100% of your time. Such guidance is patently absurd anyway. We can't give 100% of our time to anything. Certainly not if we're working with other people, caring for our families, or trying to make a big impact. There's always going to be a percentage of time we must give to working with or leading other people, managing and administering the details of our jobs. And yes, email. My point is, you can't shirk those things, but you can and must strategize and maximize your time working on outputs that make your career important and influential. Why don't more people focus on producing prolific quality output, especially given that they still have the 40% allocation for dealing with the inevitable obligations of work? The most common excuses or delusions, he says is maybe a better word, are procrastination and perfectionism. Who here would class themselves as a perfectionist? Who's like, can't release that film until it's absolutely perfect, can't, apply to try and get that, that screenplay I've always wanted commissioned, can't send that off to anyone to look at until it's perfect. Me, says Cody. Perfectionism, I think if I'm a Virgo, right, and I think Virgos are born perfectionists. It's a bullshit. I struggle with it all the time, and I have to force myself to just put stuff out when it's not perfect. You'll see my vlog next Monday when it goes out. Nowhere near perfect. It's just not perfect. There'll be audio issues. There'll be some parts of it that you're like, can I quite hear that? Because you're only going around with one microphone that's tagged on me. So if I'm having conversations with other people, they're not going to be as loud. Lee, who's following me around with the camera, is not a cameraman. So there's going to be shots that are a bit shaky. I'm going to get Lee to edit the whole thing together. He's not really an editor. He's never edited anything in his life. I'm going to help him with the first couple. Ain't going to be perfect. But I know done is better than perfect in everything. And people are forgiving. Whatever your standards of perfectionism are not everyone's standards of perfectionism. So when I'm like, I was in a voiceover today And you'll see that on the vlog. We played it back to the client. I noticed 2 things in it I wanted to change. The client went, oh, I didn't even notice them. So my idea of perfectionism was not the client's. The client already thought it was perfect. So don't let your romantic ideas of perfectionism fuck you up and stop you putting stuff out, because it's not everybody's idea of perfectionism. People will forgive you. Alison says, yep. Annabelle says, I've started running a Twitter hour, Dating Hour UK once a month with a relevant guest host. Slow start, but steadily gaining engagement. Keep it up, Annabelle. You must, even if you, honestly, that's really good. If you get like 1 tweet or 2 tweets on the couple of weeks, something like that, it's better than 0. Operate from that place. 1 is better than 0. It will start to pick up, particularly, if you're using hashtags and that, and, it's being, done regularly and consistently. Fanny on here does something called Improv Dare and Share. That's a hashtag on Twitter. Remember you starting off, Fanny, and you imagined, oh, everyone's going to get involved, and you're messaging me going, just no traction, no one's getting involved. People are now getting more involved. You've got a sponsor for that. I think you did the right thing there. Getting a sponsor and hooking up with an acting class, which is great. Peter at Thinking Actors, Peter Carroll. That's very good. It's very hard to get traction, and all these people you are seeing who have massive followings and massive, engagement, just did not start that way. I've been doing acts on this for 8 years, consistently every day. Still nowhere near where I want it to be. But I just know I'm just going to show. Time's going to pass anyway, guys. It's just going to go anyway. You might as well let it pass doing what you want to try and achieve. Twitter followings alone are bloody hard to get. They are, absolutely, and you can't cheat it. And that's what I love about social media, because you can go out and be a dick and buy followers. It's bullshit, though. Don't go and do that. I saw a company the other day that I really loved in the Trafford Centre. Really, really great company called, you know what, I'll just say who they are. I think they've got a fantastic product. They're called Pan and Ice, and they basically have got a so simple product, frozen yogurt that they make in front of you, pour it onto a freezing cold pan. It kind of solidifies. They chop it all up. They whack in Oreo with it and loads of cool tasting stuff. It's not something I would have every week, but it's a little treat. It's beautiful. They have got such gold for social media because their product, once it's made, looks amazing. It's like food porn. Everyone loves it. They could be taking pictures of that every single day, putting it out on Instagram, putting it out on Twitter. People will be liking it, sharing it, following it, and getting involved. I went on their social media account on Instagram and went, wow, they've got 150,000 followers. And they're following like 2 people or something like that. I was like, wow, this is incredible, like how they've done this. I thought, I'm going to check out the quality of their followers to see if this is legit. Nearly every one of their followers was some like half-naked Taiwanese, like random picture of someone in Taiwan or China with no posts, a fake username, and all bullshit. Like, boys, you've just massively sold out and made me go, oh, that's a shame. And also, when you cheat on social media, it completely screws up your analytics because all your engagement looks absolute shit. So if you've got 150,000 followers and you put a picture out on Instagram and it gets 6 likes, people instantly go, oh, well, that's bullshit, innit? You can't possibly get 6 likes off one piece of content if you've got 150,000 followers. You should be getting about 10% engagement. So if you've got 600 followers on Instagram and you're getting 60 likes, you're doing really well. Don't expect people to like it more than that. Like, it's mental, innit? We like it. But yeah, I just hate people who cheat. Don't cheat. Hello from South Africa, someone just said. Hello, South Africa. Yeah, don't cheat. It just screws everything up for you. Just do it organically. It's so much better in the long run. So Brendon says, look, whenever I tell people to create more output, inevitably I run into the perfectionist. They say things like, well, Brendon, I can't just put more stuff out there. I'm a perfectionist. I have to know it's absolutely right and it'll be loved. Perfectionism, though, it's just a delay logic fancied up to look respectable. The reason people don't finish more things isn't perfectionism. It's that they rarely even begin, or they get tangled up in doubt or distraction. If someone were a true perfectionist, they would at least have completed and released their work, since the very act of perfecting something comes only after it is completed, released, and then improved upon. So if you're actually saying I'm a perfectionist and you're putting no content out, you don't even understand what you're talking about. You don't understand the definition of perfectionist or perfectionism. In order to perfect anything, it's got to be put out there and finished. And Fanny says it's relative. It is relative as well. Like I said before, what you have as your level of perfectionism is not someone else's. What radio station? It's not a radio station. This is just a little broadcast I do twice a week on a Monday and a Wednesday night, South Africa. But thanks for tuning in. I don't like the new Instagram. Loved it when it was in order, says Mary. Yeah, Instagram's algorithms are changing and it's showing you stuff from different accounts that's been posted at different times and stuff like that. So it's not all in chronological order and stuff now, Mary. But that's really because Instagram's algorithm is a bit more intelligent than Twitter's, so it will show you stuff that is relevant. And if you've missed it, it's like, actually, you know what? This was posted 2 days ago, but you've liked stuff like this previously, so I'm going to show it you. So I quite like that in terms of like I'm seeing relevant content. Videos automatically play with sound now and then, so they do on Instagram and Facebook now, funny as well. Yeah, I've noticed that. So you'll automatically get the sound. You should be on the radio, Brew. You're good for it. Thank you, South Africa. Bit of Afrikaans there, I think, Brew. I like that. Also, because it's owned by Facebook, and that does the same thing, says Steve. Yeah, it does. So Facebook and Instagram, they just play the same. The audio automatically happens with the video. So Brendan says, look, we could all find reasons why it's hard to be more productive, but rather than spending any more mental power there, let's just get to work. Let's remember what's more important. Let's focus. Let's produce real things that we're proud of. Let's be prolific and change the freaking world, okay? And now there's these performance prompts. I want to finish on this, right? Have a little think about this. 3 questions right now. If you're on the audio experience and you listen to the recording of this, rewind this and replay it so you can go over these questions again. Work smart and you're sorted, someone says. I think it's a matter of working hard and smart. You can't just do one or the other. Definitely. You've got to work hard and be smart in the hard work you put out. So performance prompts. Number 1, okay? You've got to complete the sentence. The outputs that matter most to my career are... ... Fill in the blank. The outputs that matter most to my career are... What are they? Are they sending emails to people in the industry, nurturing relationships, getting out there and meeting people face to face, so you're not just relying on emails? Is it writing scripts for you, recording videos, vlogging, blogging, live broadcasting, podcasting? How can you get your name out there, make a name for yourself, get your face seen everywhere? How can you repurpose one piece of content into 5 pieces of content so it can be on so many platforms and you only have to do it once? The outputs that matter most to my career are... What are they? Okay, you've got to fill in the blank there. The outputs that matter most to my career are... Write it down. Get clear on it. I mean this. Like, don't ignore this. Write this down. It's going to help you. 2, some things I could stop doing so I can focus more on prolific quality output are... What tasks are you doing that aren't having any effect? There's a difference between going, I'm totally aware that I'm not getting, instant traction. Oh, someone says they sell property. Oh, will you write that comment again? I'm so sorry. I couldn't read your comment in time. I'm interested in that though. Let me know what you were saying there. But yeah, there's a difference between going, you know what, I know that this is going to take time to get followers and to do this, but if you're putting, the same thing out for 6 months and you're still only getting 2 followers, that's not the right tactic. You should stop doing that and focus more on something else that's going to be a better PQO for you. If you're like, I started off with 2 followers and by 6 months I'm still only on 2, then what you're doing isn't having any compounding impact. If you started off on 2 and by 6 months you had 200, keep doing what you're doing. A lot of people do that and it's mental. They say, oh, right, I want to do more of this. And I say, right, what have you done already? And they go, I want to be more successful at this, or I want to get bigger following on this. I go, right, what tactics have you used to grow already? And they'll tell me something and they'll go, yeah, and that was working quite a bit. And then I tried this. And I'm like, right, wait a minute. You just told me that something you were doing was working well, and then you decided to change it and do something else? If you find something in your career or your life or your business that's working well, go all in on that for a while until it stops working well. Don't just keep changing stuff for the sake of trying stuff out. I sell property. Usually real estate agents call people to sell their property. I don't. People call me. Okay, so right. So you've got a name for yourself so that people actually call you. As opposed to what? You having to get leads yourself. I think doing a bit of both. I mean, it depends how many people are calling you. I randomly meet people anywhere and make conversation. Well, that's brilliant. That's exactly what you do, Chadley. I don't know your first name. I can only see your username. But yeah, regardless of what industry you're in, relationships, man. So I'll tell you a little story, right? So this is exciting. You're going to see this on the vlog. I was going to say this for the vlog, but you guys on here can know about it. So I was in the car yesterday. We were vlogging this, actually. This was kind of serendipitously the way it happened. Total organically this happened. Chadley, that's your full name. Awesome. So I got a phone call in the car, and we were actually filming this at the time, so you'll see this happen properly. And it was off an actress I worked with a couple of years ago called Ruth Madeley, who you'll know. We did a drama together on BBC Three called Don't Take My Baby. She got nominated for the Best Actress BAFTA at the BAFTAs. Lost out to Saran Jones, but not bad really for a first lead role. And she's been doing a documentary for the BBC on her. She's got a condition. She's got spina bifida, and she's got something called scoliosis as well that affects her spine. And there's loads of incredible research going on into spina bifida, where now it's amazing. They can actually go into the womb of a woman when she's pregnant and fuse the gap in the spine together that would cause spina bifida whilst the baby is like not even born. Amazing. It won't cure it completely, but it can really, really help it. And Ruth has been researching into that, and they've been going and witnessing operations and all that kind of stuff for a documentary she wants to make on it, which is incredible. And I was like, wow, I would love to do. And she is in Cold Feet as well, Dawn. Yes, she's in Cold Feet at the moment. It's a program over here in the UK for those who are not in the UK here. And I was like, I would love to do a documentary on what research is going into my eye condition. And I was like, if there's any way you can get me, an in there to talk to an editor or whatever. And that's all happened, basically. And it looks like there's a lot of potential for this to go ahead. I won't spoil it all for you, but it looks like this might be happening. Not going to give any spoilers away. One person who's got the same eye condition as me, it's called retinitis pigmentosa. He's one of the most successful people on the planet. It's a guy called Steve Wynn. He's about the 500th richest person on the planet. He's a billionaire, and he owns most of Las Vegas. He built the Bellagio. He owned that. He owns the Wynn. But he's built it all from scratch. The guy's incredible. He's been a bit of a hero of mine and almost a mentor of mine without knowing he is that thing. And I was like, I would love to have, if I'm going to do a show like this or a program like this on this, I'd love to have him on it in some way. And just going back to relationships, Chad, and how important they are to talk to everyone when you're out. I was talking to somebody randomly about this, and they just went, oh yeah, I think someone I know might know him. And I'm like, nah, you're getting it mixed up. You're not thinking of like billionaire Steve Wynn. He went, no, honestly, I'm sure someone I know hangs around with him or something like that. Cut a long story short, I get a text this morning with a phone number to go, here's a guy he's a really good friend of Steve Wynn, and he's going to be hanging with him in Monaco next week. Give him a ring. So I've texted him, and I'm ringing him at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening to try and kind of get the ball rolling on getting in touch with Steve Wynn and maybe having him take part in this thing that I want to produce. And that's all off face-to-face, kind of networking, talking, and we're just talking to everybody that I meet. What are the chances of the one person I bump into of knowing someone who knows Steve Wynn? The odds are like 7.5 billion to 1, literally. So it's mental. Annabelle says, yes, Sean was telling me about Steve, yeah. Crazy, Annabelle. Honestly, absolutely crazy how it happens. So I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I just thought, just relationships are everything. They just are, in life. So to increase your prolific quality output, nurturing relationships is hugely important because other people can help you produce. But, one of my PQOs is like, right, I've got to produce more video and I want to produce shows, TV. If I can get this show done and put out there, it's incredible. And if I can go to the BBC or, other broadcasters and go, oh yeah, well, if you let me do this, then I've already got a guaranteed, hook up an interview in that with Steve Wynn, one of the most successful people on the planet. I'm sure they'll be like, oh, that's a pretty cool thing for TV. Yeah, maybe we'll give you a shot. So it's interesting, not counting my chickens before they've hatched, but I'll keep you posted. But it is funny how little conversations with people you meet, can lead you to places you never imagined. So that point number 2 was some things I could stop doing so I can focus more on PQOR. So look at what you can stop doing in order to free up some time. So don't stop ironing your underpants. Stop ironing your socks or your bedclothes. No one cares. Fine, they're only going to get messed up anyway. And then put that time into more prolific quality output. And then the last question here, the last thing to fill in, is the percentage of my weekly time I will allocate to PQO is, and the ways I'll make that happen are. So the percentage of my weekly time I will allocate to prolific quality output is, And the ways I will make that happen are, so you could say, okay, the percentage of my weekly time, I'm going to go for, maybe you can't do 60%. So you go, right, okay, I can do, you know, I don't know, 30% or something for now, because you've got 3 kids and, you know, you've got a full-time job to do and all this kind of stuff. But you still have the hours of 7 p.m. till midnight to work on your side hustle, to create that business you've always wanted to create. So you go, actually, you know what, I can put 3 hours or 4 hours a night into my side hustle. And, you know, and the way I'll make that happen are stop ironing my underpants and make sure the kids are in bed by 7 p.m. or something like that, depending on how old your kids are. But figure out what it is for you. The percentage of my weekly time I will allocate to prolific quality output is, and the ways I'll make that happen are. And if you can answer those 3 performance prompts there, I think you're going to start having way more productive days and way more productive weeks. Dana does not own an iron. Well, there you go, Dana. Good for you. No ironing for you. Amazing. Nicholas, good evening. Thanks for joining. So yeah, to go over those again quickly, write these down or rewind this on the replay if you want to hear them again. Performance prompt 1, you say to yourself, the outputs that matter most to my career are, and you figure out what your PQO is, your prolific quality output. 2, some things I could stop doing so I can focus more on PQO are, and then the percentage of my weekly time I will allocate to PQO is, and the ways I'll make that happen are. Chad loves to iron. It's a guy thing. I don't love to iron, Chad. You can do all mine, man. And that is basically, you know, part 1 of this book that we're looking at this month. The chapter's long. It goes on to other practices as well. There's one of charting your 5 moves. You know, so you're not juggling stuff about. You actually know exactly what you're doing. But it's an awesome book, guys. Honestly, it's really good. I only got it this afternoon, so I only managed to read that bit before I came on live tonight. High Performance Habits, Brendon Burchard. Get it. We're going to be looking at it again next Wednesday, the Wednesday after, and the Wednesday after that, 9 p.m. UK time, right here on Twitter, Periscope, and Facebook. So talking about this vlog, yeah, you're going to see lots of what I've talked about tonight, and that phone call I had with Ruth and stuff on the vlog. Fanny says, I bet I can find that book for free online. If you can, Fanny, you get a special round of applause, because Fanny normally finds these books on Book Club free online somewhere as a PDF, or she'll find a YouTube version of it or whatever. That's a brand new book that's only literally come out in the last couple of days. So I don't know if you'll be able to. If you can, hats off. Good on you for finding that. If you want to be one of the first people to actually watch this vlog. Oh, you said you can't find it. Well, there's a challenge for you. Try and find it, unless it's taken away from your PQO. This is where you can watch this vlog, guys. Facebook.com/watch Ross. At the moment, it's just a pretty much blank page on there with a couple of comments. Please go and like the page and follow it. And then you're going to see the first episode. I was going to put it out in 2 weeks on the 2nd of October, but I might end up actually putting this one out next Monday if I can edit it in time. So it might come out a week early. And then I'll have another one up for the for the week after. Every Monday, I'm going to put a new episode up with the plan for me, and my PQO is going to be putting this out daily eventually. Might take a couple of months to get to that point, but there should be. I want to get to a point where I'm putting out a daily episode on 8 p.m. basically on a weekday night, every night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 p.m. There will be a brand new episode of Watch Ross out, and you're going to see everything, like literally. And if there's stuff you want to see, like routines or this or that, or behind the scenes of interviews, just whatever I do, any output you see me putting out, you're like, actually like to see how he did that, just let me know, and I'll film part of it on the vlog. If you want to know how I podcast, how I get ready for these live broadcasts, go down, show you my workouts in the gym, what I eat, anything, literally. There's not really anything that's off limits, to be honest. I want to be completely transparent, and I really want people to realise and see that I am exactly like in real life, like I am on these broadcasts. Like this isn't bullshit. I hate, you know what I hate? People who are like, oh yeah, do as I say, and do all this stuff, and this is really going to help you. And then behind the scenes, they're just an absolute freaking mess, and they're not authentic at all. They're just like trying to con people into pretending they're something they're not, to make money out of people, to go, look how amazing I am, oh, look, here I am. 3 weeks ago, I was working in a call centre. Now look at me. I've got my laptop on the beach, and I get to work from anywhere in the world because I've got an online business, and I can teach you how to do that if you just buy my course for $500. Frick off. Bullshit. No, you're not. You've basically booked a week in some kind of, I don't know, some bloody hut on the beach somewhere in the back of beyond to look like it's your private island or something. You've hired a Lamborghini or some bullshit like that. You've hired some house. I don't know, you took a loan out for $3,000 and threw some money down on the bed or whatever to look like you're dead rich. All hired plastic lifestyle, mate. You weren't working in a call centre 3 weeks ago and now you're an internet millionaire. Nonsense. You're trying to become an internet millionaire by conning people into paying you for to get a lifestyle that you haven't even got yourself. That pisses me off. So I want you to see on this vlog that I do that everything I'm telling you and everything I'm, kind of like sharing on these broadcasts and on the audio experience and everything like that, I'm doing in my own life. And you're going to see me fall. You're going to see me fail at stuff. Although we never say fail, you're going to see me learn from things. And you're going to see me succeed at things. And it's all going to be valuable. But I just want you to see that it's legit. And everything you see on here is exactly what I'm like in real life. So I hope you enjoy it. Please get over to facebook.com/watchross, like and follow. And first episode, fingers crossed, will be out next Monday. So that's it, guys. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope it's been useful. Find out what your prolific quality output is. Do more of that. Just be more productive in the things you want to be productive in. If you're just being busy all the time and you're getting through big, long to-do lists, but you're still feeling like shit at the end of every day because you've not really done what you wanted to do, stop doing those shitty little tasks if they're not absolutely essential, and start doing some work towards your PQO. Thank you, Chad. Cheers for joining us from South Africa, my man. Dawn said, what time? So the vlog will go out. Don't know. I mean, if I get it edited over the weekend, I'll put the vlog out first thing Monday morning. Maybe we'll do that. We'll try and put it out every Monday at like 10 a.m. It'll be out at some point every Monday. Like I say, I'm going to probably edit the first one with Lee. Then after that, Lee's going to edit them all. He's not an editor. He's never really done it before. So it's going to be a learning curve for us all. And I want comments on it to go, I like that you've done there. I don't want to see that. I want to see more of that, not as much as that. This edit was good. This edit wasn't so good. We're all going to kind of grow together and turn this into something pretty cool, I hope. So it is all work in progress. Done is better than perfect. No procrastination. No excuses and putting it off and letting fear rule. You're going to see me fly a drone for the first time. I did that yesterday. You'll see me feel the fear and do that anyway. God, I was shitting my pants. Genuinely thought if this falls out of the sky, I could absolutely kill someone. And then I was on this field flying this drone for the first time. And then this dog, the sheep dog, started chasing it and jumping in the sky to try and eat it. Just crapping my pants. I was like, this is a lot of money, this drone. Please don't eat it, dog. So you're going to see that. You just see loads of stuff. It is pretty cool, I think. I think you'll enjoy it. Look forward to putting it out there. So thank you for joining me. Appreciate you all. I'll be back next Monday night live, 9 p.m. for Motivation and Mind Hacks, 9 p.m. UK time, that is. I'll put a podcast out this Friday, and I'll try and get that vlog edited for Monday, so that goes out. Just thank you so much for being here, and thank you for listening on the audio experience or watching the replay on YouTube or actonthis.tv if you're here. If I can do anything for you, tweet me at actonthisTV, at Ross A. Grant. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you all. I will see you soon. Bye for now.